Okay, so here we are in the where I watch over my own rotation and try to point out what I did wrong and what I did right. So let's watch it together. So here I charged in and pulled my first CD macro immediately because I want to pull recklessness because it's the most important CD when I have like 1.5 seconds left on my swing timer because your GCD is also 1.5 second, and this way you can immediately start um, after your after the GCD that is produced by recklessness, you can immediately start DPSing. So let's see over here what I did. I pressed the slam and I didn't use the heroic strike trick, even though I was on 90 rage after the slam. So that was a slight mistake already. I press Mortal Strike, of course, because it's first in the priority. And here you can see I actually used the heroic strike because I was over the benchmark of the rage, like over 85. This mark here is not correct. It should be right here, but I still know that I have to be above 85 rage. So I queued Heroic Strike, and before I use my Whirlwind, you will see that I will press the macro to cancel the Heroic Strike because um, there was no Sword Spec proc that used up the Heroic Strike. So from now on I will just say Heroic Strike trick to this. There, use Heroic Strike trick again, that was correct. Now and here, yeah, I use the Rich Beach spam method for slam. This has a couple of reasons. First of all, I can afford it. And second of all, if you look here, or you look here, this one is the thing that shows you how much time I got left on my recklessness, and because I have not much time left on my recklessness, I wanted to spend as much rage as possible. So let's continue watching. Yeah, this is correct. One little side note is that if you have less than 15 rage, you cannot like latency clip your slam cast because you're not able to press it before the timer is on the state. So you have to wait until the auto attack is actually finished and the rage that you gained from the auto attack was registered. So ideal would be to be always on 15 or more rage, but this is really difficult to achieve. And yeah, especially if you don't have Wind Fury like I do right now in the raid scenario, and you always get damaged and get fed a little bit of rage. So in a raid scenario, this is much easier to achieve, but yeah, on the dummy, it's really hard to get through this much of rage input. So you could stand above 15 all the time. So they are really clipped, used my latency really good again. There you could have seen that I wasn't really able to clip the latency again because I have not enough rage. There I pressed the Berserker Rage simply because there wasn't really another button to press. And I'm just continuing with the standard rotation right now, nothing really special happening here. So now I press Heroic Strike before the auto attack comes through, because if I let the auto attack come through and after that pressing slam, like standard rotation, I could overcap very badly. Like the auto attack could even trigger a Wind Fury, and in this case I would, if both the auto attack and the Wind Fury would have crit, I would overcap by like 50 rage, or something like this. So this would be really, 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 really bad. So you got to press the heroic strike right here, even though if the alter attack that is coming out like wouldn't have crit, what you can't ever know, then it wouldn't really be correct to press the heroic strike here. But you always have to assume that you are critting or you're proccing when you are above 85 rage. So I pressed it here and this is correct. Into slam, of course, into mortal strike because it's available. Slam, whirlwind, good slam timing. Here I was at 13 rage. So on here, this is always a good opportunity to use abilities like Berserker Rage or Shouts, is when you do the first part of your free hit combo like Auto Attack and Slam, and after that you have no other button to press. This is a good opportunity to press like Berserker Rage, or you could press shout, or you could press hamstring if you have enough rage for that. Yeah, now I'm getting a little bit of rage starved due to the conditions I am in. Shouldn't really happen in a raid though, like I said before. In a raid scenario, you will find yourself using the do not overcap methods a lot, and therefore it's very good to train them. Here I think I prioritize battle shot for before the last hit of the free hit combo, just because you know by now that battle shot gives 382 attack power. Therefore, every button you press without having battle shot active loses out on value. And as a warrior, you always have to look out for the value of your abilities, like comparing damage dealt for rage spent. And if you have battle shot active, that means that all your abilities get a bigger value for your rage spent. And that's not all. Imagine I would have been in a party here with other melees. They want to have the battle shot up as soon as possible. So I prioritize battle shot here. This was a really late, I used the two, like the method of using two globals after your auto attack, which I told you earlier is not always correct, but I was so wage starved that I figured that it would be worth to pop Berserker Rage here and lose out on one slam, so I can continue my rotation down. Yeah, I could continue my rotation better after that. Here's, see, I was shooting a lot of rage here, and you see, I cast slam and I didn't use the heroic strike trick, even though I was at 94 rage, just because my reaction time wasn't fast enough. Because why did I shoot so high in rage? It's because here you see the auto attack and there's the sword spec that occurred after the auto attack, so I had even less time to think about pressing this. And yeah, my reaction time simply was not fast enough for that. So that's your boomer gamer right there. You shouldn't do these mistakes. So here we can see that my CDs are coming off cooldown soon. What you would ideally want to do here is like getting Berserker Rage online, so you don't need to spend the global while your CDs are running. And another thing you can do is bank up rage before the your cooldowns are coming. So you might not want to press any buttons for like 1 or 2 auto attacks before your cooldowns. So you can like really dump and really pump hard while your cooldowns are active and get going. But I didn't do it here. I think it's like I am doing mistakes here and there. So I got a sword spec that was kinda lucky, so I have a lot of rage anyways for my cities. There I kinda missed the heroic strike trick as well as what was at 84 rage, so I could have used it, but yeah, 84 is not 85, so I guess I didn't have to. So there I used my CDs, but I pressed the wrong macro actually. So this was a really huge fuck up by me. I have a couple of macros for different situations, and here I pressed the wrong one, which is really, really bad because now the thing happened that I told you earlier. If you press your Death Wish before you press your Orc Racial, you cannot press your Orc Racial. Yeah, your Orc Racial will be on a GCD. So yeah, it's a slight fuck up again, so I need to recast it later if I do even. So I used the witch pitch method here, which was yeah kind of a gamble. So if I had some Wind Fury and Sword Spec procs, this would have been a great play. But if I do not had these procs, this wouldn't have been that good. And I didn't have procs. However, I have the Blood Rage ability, so I can get me out of the Rage Starve hole with that here. If I wanna use that, that is seems like I don't want to. So here I used Hamstring. Here I used Heroic Strike Trick. Alright, and now we're getting to the end. So yeah, this was all. It was overall a relatively good fight. We can see 1.2k DPS. This is like the maximum I can achieve on a 3-minute fight on these things without buffs. I think there was one time I got 1.3k, but this is not really a lot of improvement, I guess. It's always depends on the procs, of course, and he can crit you. So if he crits you, you get a huge damage buff. So damage tests on these dummies are always a little bit scuffed, but the rotation you can practice regardless of the scuffed things that can happen. So there's one more thing to say. You might notice that I have a lot of small little rig auras over here that show me uptimes of procs and buffs. So I have these. I have 3 major procs that are increasing my DPS, so they are not on use, they are procs, so they are occur randomly. And I have 3 rig auras for them. They are all together with a notice sound. So if they proc, they make a little sound, and if they all proc together, you hear these female larfing, and this means that my 3 major DPS procs are active. So every time I hear that larfing, I look at my bar and I see, okay, they are running for 5 seconds, and sometimes you want to time cooldowns on that, or sometimes you want to dump a lot of rage while these procs are active, because you get a lot more value out of your abilities while those things are active. So you want to track your buffs. Yeah, I think this video is a very good one to explain the rotation. I think we had almost every like event that can happen in your rotation. We only missed out on one, and this is when you press like auto attack, slam, whirlwind, and after whirlwind immediately mortal strike, and then use delayed slam. This is the only thing that didn't occur. This is more common in raid scenarios, because in raid scenario you get the rage fed through burst mechanics, and this is like the major thing that can enable the delayed slam tactic. Alright, so that's now really all I can say for the rotation part. And yeah, like I said, we see each other in the next one.